Mr. President and gentlemen of the court-martial, I mean not to give you the trouble of bringing judicial proof to convict me legally of having acted in hostility to the government of His Britannic Majesty in Ireland. I admit the fact. From my earliest youth, I have regarded the connection between Great Britain and Ireland as the curse of the Irish nation, and felt convinced that, whilst it lasted, this country could never be free nor happy. My mind has been confirmed in this opinion by the experience of every succeeding year, and the conclusions which I have drawn from every fact before my eyes. In consequence, I was determined to employ all the powers which my individual efforts could move, in order to separate the two countries. That Ireland was not able of herself to throw off the yoke, I knew. I therefore sought for aid wherever it was found. In honorable poverty, I rejected offers which, to a man in my circumstances, might be considered highly advantageous. I remained faithful to what I thought the cause of my country, and sought in the French Republic an ally to rescue 3 million of my countrymen from the... I shall then confine myself to some points relative to my connection with the French army. Attached to no party in the French Republic, without interest, without money, without intrigue, the openness and integrity of my views raised me to a high and confidential rank in its armies. I obtained the confidence of the Executive Directory, the approbation of my generals, and, I will venture to add, the esteem and affection of my brave comrades. When I review these circumstances, I feel a secret and internal consolation which no reverse of fortune, no sentence in the power of this court to inflict, can deprive me of, or weaken in any degree. Under the flag of the French Republic, I originally engaged with a view to save and liberate my own country. For that purpose, I have encountered the chances of war amongst strangers. For that purpose, I repeatedly braved the terrors of the ocean, covered, as I knew it to be, with the triumphant fleets of that power in which was my glory and my duty to oppose. I have sacrificed all my views in life. I have courted poverty. I have left a beloved wife unprotected, and children whom I adored fatherless. After such a sacrifice in a cause which I have always considered, conscientiously considered, as the cause of justice and freedom, it is no great effort, at this day, to add the sacrifice of my life. But I hear it said that this unfortunate country has been a prey to all sorts of horrors. I sincerely lament it. I beg, however, it may be remembered that I have been absent 4 years from Ireland. To me these sufferings can never be attributed. I decide, by fair and open war, to procure the separation of the two countries. For open war I was prepared, but, instead of that, a system of private assassination has taken place. I repeat, whilst I deplore it, that it is not chargeable on me. Atrocities, it seems, have been committed on both sides. I do not less deplore them. I detest them from my heart. And to those who know my character and sentiments, I may safely appeal for the truth of this assertion. With them, I need no justification. In a case like this, success is everything. Success, in the eyes of the vulgar, fixes its merits. Washington succeeded, and Kosciuszko failed. After a combat nobly sustained, a combat which would have excited the respect and sympathy of a generous enemy, my fate has been to become a prisoner, to the eternal disgrace of those who gave the orders. I was brought here in irons like a felon. I mention this for the sake of others. For me, I am indifferent to it. I am aware of the fate which awaits me, and scorn equally the tone of complaint and that of supplication. As to the connection between this great country and Britain, I repeat it, all that has been imputed to me, words, writings, and actions, I here deliberately avow. I have spoken and acted with reflection and on principle, and am ready to meet the consequences. Whatever be the sentence of the court, I am prepared for it. Its members will surely discharge their duty. I shall take care not to be wanting in mine. I wish to offer a few words relative to one single point, the mode of punishment. In France, our émigrés, who stand nearly in the same situation in which I now stand before you, are condemned to be shot. I ask that the court shall judge me the death of a soldier, and let me be shot by a platoon of grenadiers. I request this indulgence, rather in consideration of the uniform I wear, the uniform of a chef de brigade in the French army, rather than any personal regard to myself. In order to evince my claim to this favor, I beg that the court may take the trouble to peruse my commission and letters of service in the French army. It will appear from these papers that I have not received them as a mask to cover me, but that I have been long and bona fide an officer in the French service. I have labored to create a people in Ireland by raising 3 millions of my countrymen to the rank of citizens. I have labored to abolish the infernal spirit of religious persecution by uniting the Catholics and Dissenters. To the former I owe more than ever can be repaid. The services I was so fortunate to render them they rewarded munificently. But they did more. When the public cry was raised against me, when the friends of my youth swarmed off and let me alone, the Catholics did not desert me. They had the virtue even to sacrifice their own interests to a rigid principle of honor. They refused, though strongly urged, to disgrace a man who, whatever his conduct toward the government might have been, had faithfully and conscientiously discharged his duty toward them. And in doing so, though it was in my own case, I will say they showed an instance of public virtue, of which I know not whether there exists another example.